Hello and welcome back to Stream On. I am Hollis. With me is Eila. Hello, Eila.
Hello there.
Ah, we are jumping into another documentary. Are you excited?
I'm very excited. I really like documentaries in general. I like to see the real story. If I see a movie about someone, I'll always see if there's a documentary about them.
Yes, always. What was the last documentary we did?
We did My Mother Jane,
My Mother Jane, My Mom Jane.
Mom
Right.
Jane.
Yeah. And what I loved about that, and I'm going to love about this, is that we're not locked into any kind of plot.
Right.
It can be freewheeling and we can talk about anything. And this documentary does. It is such a great retrospective of her career, as well as like kind of an examination of the times she came up in.
Sorry, by she we mean Barbara Walters. We haven't said it yet.
I'm sorry. Barbara Walters, Tell Me Everything.
Yes, and she does.
Uh, and she does, yeah, as usual. But yeah, I like how it examines the sexual politics of the time.
That's the most fascinating part to me.
And there's no end to them. Like she had to battle them on many levels at many times in her life, starting when she was young.
Yeah, I didn't know that much about Barbara Walters. I met her once ever.
Ooh.
It wasn't the greatest experience. I mean, she didn't do anything wrong. I just didn't feel like I got her on the best day. She just seemed a bit devoid of personality, actually.
Ooh,
So
shots fired.
no shots. But I'm sure it wasn't, the Barbara Walters that most people got. It was just, I don't know. She was
Yeah.
fine.
Was she currently on the air when you met her? Like
No,
I get the feeling that's when you get A-list Barbara Walters on.
it wasn't in a professional situation. It was just, it was
The
in private.
sauna?
That's right. That's right. We were out to dinner. No, it
Having a
was.
steam.
It was at a work kind of thing,
Oh, okay.
but not on the air. It was just an
Mhm.
event, and she was fine. I don't even know why I brought that up. I'm just saying that this whole this has taken an ugly turn that I never intended. It just meant that
Oh,
I was happy to see that there was
mm,
so much more to her than the little tiny glimpse I had.
right. It's understood that you hate her.
It is not.
No. Growing up, being the only boy in the household with my older sisters and my mom, Barbara Walters specials were required viewing.
Oh,
They
really?
were big event viewing. It was
Oh.
always like, oh my God, how did she get him? How did she get her? Like, she had really good gets as far as guests.
Right. She had anyone A-list, politicians and celebrities. I didn't grow up in a house that cared about media and celebrities. And, I was
Mm,
the only one that was really interested in that kind of thing. So nobody
okay.
cared about watching Barbara Walters specials in my house. I don't even know that I watched them until later.
I'll tell you along those lines, I remember being a young kid and seeing Gilda Radner doing Baba Wawa, her Barbara Walters parody.
Right.
And I saw that and got to know that and laughed at that before I knew who Barbara Walters was.
Yeah, I might have had that same experience. I'm sure that I knew Gilda Radner much more than I knew Barbara Walters. Barbara Walters
Hmm.
was a name. She was always there. You
Right.
know, we didn't discover her, right? She was already a big thing.
Hmm.
We came around.
Yeah.
But thanks to her, I never questioned that a woman would be in that job.
Isn't it amazing that these pioneers that put up with so much, they set the bar at a place where later generations are like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
Right. I didn't
It,
even question it.
no, it's so hard to put yourself back into the context of the times.
That's what this documentary did for me. It showed me what she actually went through to get there so that
Yeah.
I to question something like that.
The my favorite part of the documentary and my big takeaway from it, the misogyny of Barbara's co-anchors
Ah,
frustrated her so much that it made her want to get out of the studio and interview people.
yeah.
So inadvertently, these chauvinistic men who thought they were gatekeeping and standing in her way and refusing her advancement through their own actions unintentionally launched her
Yes,
to a level of power and celebrity far above them.
they
Talk
could
about karma.
right. And they made her better at what she did.
Yes.
So kudos to her because, she didn't run away, she didn't quit. She turned it around.
Yeah. She
But
turned
so
that
let's
beat around.
That's right. There were three people that were the worst to her. I only remember two of them. Hopefully you'll remember the third. Harry Reasoner, he was the first and worst. He didn't even want to co-host with her, right?
Right.
Um,
I think the first one was Frank McGee.
oh, okay. Now who was he? I don't remember him.
He was the old as the hills guy who later died, which is why she was able to move up.
Oh, okay. So him and then Harry Reasoner.
Right.
Didn't want to work with her, but had to, but made it known on live television, right, that he didn't really think that she was
Yeah, it
qualified.
was uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then I was so disappointed to hear that Peter Jennings also was bad to her.
I was disappointed too. My wife was heartbroken.
Me too. I felt
we like Peter Jennings.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't look at him the same way anymore.
Oh.
And when they play clips of him like interrupting her, and I'm like, oh, seen through this prism.
Right. I didn't even notice it before. Not that I don't even know that I watched them together before. I didn't watch a lot of news growing up.
Right.
I was a kid.
Yeah. Harry Reasoner, incidentally, is also a bad guy in the Ms. Magazine documentary. He does double duty. Yeah. He's the guy who they play a clip of him on the news and he's like, there's a new magazine for women. I give it 3 months.
Right. And then he had to apologize.
He had to go on and apologize. He gave it like 3 months, 6 months, whatever. And he apologized a year, but his apology even sucked.
Yeah, well, he was probably just not a very evolved guy.
He was a dick.
That's nice.
I'm nice. You're so much nicer than me. But, to put into perspective how lousy Frank McGee, Harry Reasoner, and Peter Jennings were, check out these three men who were nicer to Barbara: Anwar Sadat, Fidel Castro, and Muammar Gaddafi.
Right. And gave her respect.
Gave her respect.
Yeah.
If any network executive had a brain in their head, they wouldn't have teamed her up with Reasoner. They would have pushed him to the side on some boring ass late night show. And they would have teamed Barbara up with some younger, hip guy who was kind of cool with women, where they could have a little kind of sexual banter and kind of wink, wink, kind of, chemistry.
I know, but that never would have happened at the time because it was all about the establishment, and Harry Reasoner was the establishment. Barbara was, a big thing that she was coming into he wasn't going anywhere. She was lucky to have a seat at that table.
Right. I feel like the morning shows were a lot more receptive to women, like my beloved Jane Pauley. Like, it was almost seen as their domain. That was okay. That was cool. But when you try to do hard news and you come in at nighttime.
Right. Because there were no cooking segments on the news, women, there was a place for women in those morning shows because we did, it was more geared towards family type stuff because, the people who were watching it were not at work.
Right.
This is a long time ago.
I think also the whole thing of Barbara accepting $1 million to become co-anchor with Reasoner, you have to remember, like, even the joke on Mary Tyler Moore when she asked Lou Grant for a raise, and she's like, why did the guy before me make more money? And he's like, he was a man.
Yeah.
So the fact that she was getting $1 million, whether Reasoner was getting more or less, that must have rankled all of the men in news.
Right. And probably many men in the country too.
Yeah. Who does she think she is? All that other bullshit.
But she got it. That's amazing that she got it.
It's amazing that she got it. It's amazing that she got it. And then normally I dislike talking heads in documentaries. I'm like, get out of the way of the subject. But not in this case, because Barbara's fellow pioneers, like Oprah, Connie Chung, Katie Couric, and especially Cynthia McFadden, who is great. like they're all outstanding. They bring context and insights to the events of her life. But
What else
Oprah,
is not here? There
what's
was no
that?
Barbara's not here to talk for herself, and
Barbara's not here.
there was no liaison like in the Jane Mansfield. There was Mariska Hargitay, her daughter. So we need these women.
Very good point. We do. But like Oprah brings up that like if she got $1 million, maybe I can move from 22 grand to 30 grand. Like it shows how inspiring it was no matter where you were on the ladder.
Oprah would famously say on her talk show that she always dreamed that she would make her age per year. So if she was 30, she wanted to make $30,000. So,
Wow.
so then I guess, Barbara doing that probably saw that she could hope for more than that.
Yeah.
But also that's why
Yes.
she became what she was, that and Mary Tyler Moore on her show.
That's right. That's right.
But
Oh,
really there's no one. So these women are Barbara's peers, but really Barbara didn't have any peers. She was really the first and
yeah.
only for a long time.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, it is amazing because that it's very hard to be the first.
Speaking of which, every good hero story needs a villain.
Yeah.
And although we had one in every single man she encountered, but then along comes Diane Sawyer.
Now, Diane Sawyer really villain, I have to say.
I know I'm joking because that's the way it's played in this documentary.
A little bit. Well, Barbara saw it that way, but Diane Sawyer never saw it that way.
No, but Barbara definitely saw it that way.
Because she saw Diane Sawyer. Barbara never appreciated much about herself. She was confident in her ability to do her job. But I think that's where her confidence ended. She wasn't happy with the way she looked.
Well, the
And
die was cast on that early on from
her father,
childhood.
yeah.
Yeah, she was not happy with the way she looked with, she
Well,
had
her
to go to
father
work at a
made
very young age.
yeah, right. And she was taught that she was less than her sister at a very young age. And, so, and maybe because of that is why she worked so hard to get where she was, who knows? But it's still not a great way to grow up.
No. Also, like we saw some archive footage of her father, and he created the Latin Quarter.
Yeah.
Which was a big thing in New York, the LQ, even when I was coming up, and he went broke. And when you see the footage of him, even when Barbara was very little, this was an old man. And he was apparently never home, and he would carouse, and he was a gambler, and he ended up losing everything, so she had to go to work. But when you saw pictures of her with some of the guys she ended up with, it seemed like she was looking for that father figure. She was looking for that kind of, I don't know, that feeling, that kind of settled feeling, that kind of stayed feeling that she never got. And she was kind of a nomad in her job. So she was just at sea everywhere. And her kids suffered, we find out.
Yeah. I think
Um,
that was hard for her. She had a tumultuous relationship with her daughter, I think.
yeah. And I want to ask you, because you made the point that Barbara's no longer with us to lead us through this documentary. Would we have gotten this documentary if she were alive?
I don't know. I wonder if she would have exposed that much about herself. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't know. Because I could totally believe that she's one of those people that are like, you want to know me? Watch my interviews.
Right.
Like,
I know. I kind of feel like that. Again, I didn't get to know her all that well.
right.
But it seems like because we never did when she was here, and she didn't really expose much about her private life. So I don't know.
No, she played it close to the vest.
Very much so. And it's also interesting to me that her daughter wasn't the narrator of this because she could have been.
She could have been. Yeah. Well, she did not seem at ease with being on camera the one time she was interviewed by, I think, Cynthia McFadden.
Right. So, but she did participate, and I'm sure she had to okay this whole documentary. So,
Oh, yeah.
we wouldn't want to imply she's not on board. It's interesting to me that it just was done this way. But, it was done so well. So it
Right.
worked. And I think you're right. I think she probably just would rather not have had that responsibility.
Or she would have said, like, sure, you can do it. Let me edit it. And she would have cut out everything that maybe while painting the whole picture, she might have been uncomfortable with.
Yeah, I don't know though. I wonder, she probably did have some
Mm.
control because she allowed it to happen.
Also, she always had a nose for a good story, so maybe she would have left some stuff in.
Right. So
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows?
Although as people get older, they're a little more protective. But speaking of her getting older, were you a fan of The View at
I
any
still
point?
like The View. I still watch The View. I do. I like it a lot. Um, I, so I did watch it in the beginning. Then I didn't watch it for a long time, and then I came back to it.
That's what I was going to ask is what is your era? Were you in on the beginning and
I did watch it in the beginning. I think I like it more now.
oh, interesting. Now
Yeah,
is Joy Behar still part of it? Is Whoopi?
Behar and Whoopi Goldberg, and some very smart women are on the show right now.
Okay, good. Is Lisa Ling on there? Because I like her.
She was years ago, but
Years ago, yeah. Because they always introduce some young people on the show, and I never think they have a good point of view.
this one they have now is great. So it's Alyssa Farah Griffin. Do you know her?
Not by name.
So she is a Republican. She worked in Trump's White House,
Excuse me.
but however, she quit after January 6th, and she is not. She speaks out against him now. She's on
Mm,
CNN. She's a regular correspondent on CNN. Um,
okay.
really smart. She is reasonable. She didn't vote Republican in the last election.
Okay.
Um, she's she is a reasonable Republican, which is
I love that. I love that you caught yourself before saying that.
I
You
know.
kind of played it
I know.
in your head, and then you were like, "What the hell?"
I wanted to make sure I said it the right way. You can't expect everyone to agree with you. So, I try not to dislike people just for not being a Democrat or, an independent.
Yeah.
She's like one of those John McCain Republicans, if
Mm,
that helps. So she's really smart and she talks and she exposes things about Trump's White House. So that's really fascinating. You can't get that from anywhere else. Like she knows, she worked with him.
right.
So anyway,
Yeah.
she's really smart.
Well, that's good. I mean, we're living in a time where it seems it's impossible to have an open conversation. And
Yeah.
you can't say to someone, like, okay, convince me. Like, everyone has their minds closed. So I keep an open mind to anybody who keeps an open mind.
Right. And that's the best you can do in that seat. This isn't like having Meghan McCain as one of them because she was. And all
Right.
she did was argue with people. It's not
Yeah.
like and
Yeah.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck and there's been many that's always seems to be that the Republican spot, that young
Yeah.
slot.
Hasselback, I remember not
Oh,
liking at all.
no, but this one they have now is a great fit because you know, she's very democratic in a lot of ways.
So was it that you didn't know a lot about Barbara before watching this?
I
Or
really
you
do. I
okay.
knew the very basics. I, of course, knew her career. Everybody knows her career, but
Hmm.
personally, I didn't know. I knew she had this daughter that she adopted, and so she wanted to be a parent very much. Um, and I knew that their relationship had been rocky at times, and that's really all I knew going in.
Right.
How about you?
What I I just knew her celebrity interviews, and I knew the fact that some of them have not aged well. And she was kind of from an earlier time, and it made for some awkward things now, but you
No,
can't
you
judge people
you
with
can't. It was
today's.
one standard. Just think about for someone listening where you're at now. You know,
Mhm.
this could change in 20 years and people will judge you for the viewpoint. Like you can only do as well as the time you're in.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. Here's a question for you. People like Barbara Walters, people who have that career, and if you had that career, it always seems incongruous to me that they try to do that and they try to live for their career and try to have a family.
Hmm.
Now, coming off of the Jane Mansfield documentary,
Right.
we see that it can be done
Can be
in
done.
at least in fits and starts, and Lucille Ball, certain people at the top of the list, can do it. And sometimes it works out great and sometimes not so great. But if it were you, and you have a very successful career, but if you were like Barbara Walters big, would you also try to have a family? Do you think if you were starting out and you were her?
It's hard to say. I might, because it's the so you never know what you're going to get, but you don't want to miss out on anything. So you don't
Yeah.
know it. You feel like I don't want to not do it and then be
Mm.
sorry later. So that's the thing.
Mm.
I don't know what I would do in that position. Or I might, if I wouldn't want to give up the career to have the family.
Right.
If I thought I could do both successfully, then it wouldn't stop me. And, certainly plenty of people do, but
Yeah.
few people are as big as Barbara Walters, even people who are huge.
Because I always think about that, like certain careers, even not even famous, but like police officer. Like I would feel bad being married to someone while I was a cop. Like I'd be working doubles a lot. I'd see my partner more than I saw my partner. And I may not come home one day. All of those things. Like, so I just think about that a lot. And my hat's off to anybody who can do that. I don't think I could choose. I think I'd rather choose the level beneath Barbara
Mhm.
and have love in my life. Uh, but sometimes your job chooses you. Special
Right.
people like Barbara, pioneers, people who break ceilings, people who push against boundaries.
I also think it's
Uh,
easy now to do both.
yeah.
Workplaces can make accommodations now that they were not going to do
Oh
back.
my
And
God.
as a woman back then, you couldn't ask for any special treatment because you were a
Right.
woman, or else you would be putting women back, set back progress.
It is, you're right. It's such a different time. It's such a different time that baseball players have paternity leave now.
Mm.
They get to go and take something like 3 to 5 days to be with their wife while she's delivering and to be there for a day or two and come back. They also have like, grief leave. They can go when a family member dies. And you used to have to choose when to have, like, let's have sex now so that when the kid's born, I can be there in the off season.
Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't that?
It is. Wow.
So it's a different world.
Yeah. Wow. Well, just to play devil's advocate, they only play a few months out of the year, but even still, it's
Oh,
crazy. That they
baseball's
even
162 games.
Yeah.
So yeah, off season is just 3 to 4 months before spring training. But anyway, yeah, I just showed like that's where it's moved for men. So I
Right.
like that's how much more leeway there is for our kind of woke ass politics
Right.
in this world.
Right. But don't think that just because men have made progress in that area, women are making the same kind of progress.
No way. No
Never.
way. I just think it's funny that like, women have to like push push the boulder up the hill like 1,000 miles. And
Oh,
then men are like, oh, we're up here now? All right. I'll join
right.
you. I'll join you, ladies.
I know.
I want paternity leave. I want this. I want like, yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it for myself, like working on a project with a male partner being treated much worse. And when I confronted the man who was doing it, he said, "Well, I don't say this in front of anyone else, so it's okay." Yeah, I know.
Oh,
And I said, "No, it is not okay." And it
wow.
just, yeah.
On behalf of that guy, I'm sorry, but I wish I could apologize for guys everywhere. But like, I'll tell you something. All guys are a work in progress, myself included. I would hate to be taken for task for something that might have come out of my mouth at 18, 20, 22.
Well, this
Like,
was just school, so
but,
don't.
but yeah, but I was about to say, there's no excuse for something coming out of your mouth at 40, 50, whatever. Like, grow the fuck up.
Yeah, no, it became a terrible situation, but
Oh
but
my
you
God.
have to deal with it because you want to work, and this is the job, and so it sucks. And Barbara Walters had to go through so much worse than that because hers was
Mm.
all public and it was much more hazing. I had one person that I had to deal with, but she had probably most of a network of men on her
And
case.
and probably a lot of hate mail.
Right. Oh, right. We're not even starting with that. But let's pick up where you started with Diane Sawyer.
Yeah.
Diane Sawyer comes along, and probably in Barbara Walters' mind, she has, Diane Sawyer is beautiful. She's still beautiful at whatever age she is now.
Yeah.
She's incredibly gorgeous. Um, but she also has the chops as this newswoman. So Barbara Walters is seeing, she's got everything where Barbara only thought she had the work part. She didn't think she
Yeah.
had the part. So you could see where Diane Sawyer would be a big threat to her.
And unlike Barbara, I don't believe Diane had any kind of rocky initiation. She settled immediately into,
Barbara.
because of Barbara and because of where the bar was, she settled into, was it 2020 or 60 Minutes or Nightline? One of those, like,
Yeah.
and like immediately rose to prominence and then started doing that roving reporter thing that Barbara created.
Right.
And she had, like you said, the looks that Barbara was insecure about, but also her partner was Mike Nichols.
Yeah.
And she used to be a speechwriter for Nixon. Nobody's perfect. But she really was instantly taken seriously.
Because of Barbara Walters.
And that must have been galling on some level.
It would, yeah. I don't know that. Do you think Barbara Walters gave herself the credit that she created a Diane, or she created a space for Diane Sawyer?
I don't think Barbara saw Diane as the compliment to her that we see it as.
And I think Diane Sawyer would. I think Diane Sawyer would acknowledge that because of Barbara Walters, she was able to.
Absolutely. I think she would. I think also Barbara saw it as almost that should have been me. In a weird way, she got to see what her rise should have been like. Oh, they pay her a lot of money. She gets put on a news show. Everyone loves her immediately. She gets to go off and where's the backlash? She's like, that should have been me. I should have had it. She had it too easy. And I think that's what really galled her.
Maybe. But, Diane Sawyer has an incredible career. It's still not Barbara Walters level career. Nobody can top Barbara Walters. Oprah is the only one that comes close.
Yes. And she's a whole industry unto herself. One of the people that we used to work with, Barbara, he said it best when he was talking about after Barbara Walters got this scoop of an interview with Anwar Sadat and Menachem Begin, Walter Cronkite got to interview them. But the guy was like, but if you're not first, you're nowhere.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, Barbara was first.
Yeah. And that was huge that she beat out, of all people, Walter Cronkite, the most trusted man in America, everyone's grandpa.
Yeah. So as good as Diane Sawyer was, she'd never be first.
Right.
Barbara was first.
She was first. She's right. Exactly.
It's
not bad to be Diane Sawyer, though.
Yeah. I think you've got a hard on for Diane Sawyer for learning.
Well, I was at a dinner party with Diane Sawyer, and she was lovely. So I have.
See, that's nice. Wow. Yeah. You've got two quality name drops in this episode that are the biggest two names outside. Do you have an Oprah story?
I do not, sadly.
Okay.
I tried to get Oprah for my Tony book, and she didn't want to do it. Unfortunately, I tried so hard.
Oh, wow. Talk about good gets.
I know, because Oprah is a Tony winner. She produced The Color Purple. She was one of the
producers. Oh, as a producer. All right. I was like, what could she be in that? Wow, no, that's great.
Yeah. So I wanted to get her so much, but I got lots to do. I understood.
I'm sure a future book, you've got her.
Oh, if only.
All right. Anything else on Baba Wawa?
Feel like there's got to be more, right? I mean, yes. So when Barbara Walters retired from The View, they did a special show, and every one of those news women, every top news anchor that was a female showed up on the episode to thank her.
It was overwhelming.
Oprah, yeah. Oh, it was.
They
And
kept
Barbara,
coming out.
amazing. Yeah, right. Incredible. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the best. And that's her legacy. All these incredible women that the world is so much better for.
Yeah. I also think that was a rare show of emotion for Barbara. That was real, genuine emotion.
I think they took her by surprise. I don't think she knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. I also think she felt that it was kind of a thankless career she had in some way. She never got the thank you from all these women that, she broke the glass ceiling and then nobody said thanks on their way up. And then she got it in that moment in a way that overwhelmed her, I think.
I also want to say something else about Barbara Walters because I don't think people realize, and I did not realize this before the documentary, but people in the one-on-one interviews didn't ask questions that like she did. She really pioneered that. The joke was that you would cry if you went on Barbara Walters, but she would ask questions that people weren't asking, and in a way that it was okay to ask them. Nobody ever
Absolutely.
mean spirited. She just was asking questions that you really did. I think that's what made her special, so intriguing, that you really did want answers to these questions.
Yeah. It was great what she did. Like I used to run a men's magazine and I used to interview porn stars as if they were A-list celebrities and pay them respect. And you used to get such good stuff out of them. And like she realized that humanizing her subjects helped us connect as an audience and made us want to hear what they have to say on other things. And
Yeah.
like she would ask serious questions of celebrities and she would ask playful questions of politicians and serious people.
Right.
So it was this wonderful thing where you caught each off guard and gave us things nobody else gave us.
Right. And I also think that she paved the way for someone like Joan Rivers for the interviews that she would do on the red carpet, where where she could be that bold because it had been done before.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Joan was amazing too, and she certainly had balls without anyone else. She might have
Yeah.
gotten it anyway, but Barbara made it easier for her.
Right. I met Joan Rivers.
So jealous.
So there. It was also in a steam room. Yeah. So why don't we wrap it there?
Let's wrap it.
Let's wrap it. But another fantastic documentary.
This month there's a lot of great female-centered documentaries. It's the Jane Mansfield, it's Barbara Walters, and also the Ms. Magazine documentary, which is great also.
Yeah, so good. So yeah, be sure to check those out. Yeah. And this was a pleasure, Eila. And
so much fun.
I will see you next time for something else.
It's absolutely. We'll pick it soon.
Yeah, that's us.
Oh, and we have an Instagram, so hopefully people will follow us on our Instagram.
Oh, at stream_on_pod.
Okay, that makes it harder, but hopefully they'll still look.
Is that even it? Did I get it? Did I get close? I love that neither one of us know. It's hard to believe that we don't have a lot of followers yet. Yeah, I got it.
Excellent. So you can leave it.
All right. I can leave it. Take care.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.